with the holiday season in full swing, it is apparent that now is as much the time for buying as it is for giving back. The popular brand/social charity TOMS Shoes has made a big business out of striking the balance between giving and receiving. Its trademark one-for-one model promises consumers that for each pair of shoes they buy for themselves, another will be placed on the foot of a child in need. TOMS employees and volunteers currently drop shoes in more than 50 countries from Angola to Zambia, according to their website, and as of September 2010, TOMS has given over 1 million pairs of new shoes to children in need. But does the one-for-one charity model really help people in need? And how should socially conscious consumers choose to give back? Miami University economics professor Dennis Sullivan says TOMS is exploring a relatively old business idea that focuses on uniting doing well and doing good.
TOMS Shoes, the connection is particularly close because of the one-for-one element. One-for-one is actually a trademarked term that's showing how much they want to deploy that as a way of connecting doing well and doing good.
Brett Smith, founding director of the Center for Social Entrepreneurship, was responsible for bringing TOMS Shoes founder Blake Mikoski to Miami's campus in 2009. He says there are elements of the company's model that are extremely positive.
What are they trying to do? What they're trying to do at the end of the day is generate social value through shoes. That's the way they would describe it. I think one of the things they've been incredibly good at is making it transparent to the consumer what difference their purchase makes, one for one.
Sullivan says the one-for-one model helps the company sustain itself as a business rather than just a charity. So has TOMS stumbled upon a good model? Sullivan says the business model is just that, a business model, and one that costs consumers a lot of money.
The question is whether that works all the time. Probably not. We don't see a Pizza Hut saying we'll deliver pizzas to poor people. When you buy a pizza, all you have to do is pay an extra $2 for the pizza.
Sullivan says TOMS' popularity could just be a fad, and that it's just too obvious that customers are paying more than they need to. But what about those on the receiving end of the one-for-one model? Recently, TOMS Shoes has come under fire in some internet and radio communities, including goodintents.org, which dubbed TOMS a day without shoes, a day without dignity. Many, like blogger Cheryl Davenport of Fast Company and Amy Costello, host of the philanthropy podcast Tiny Spark, argue that TOMS Shoes cripples local shoemaking businesses in the developing economies where they distribute aid. Sullivan says there is always tension between a hand out and a hand up, or giving people a fish and teaching them to fish. But he says shoes can be both.
Clearly, the shoes have some immediate benefit, but they're also, in effect, an investment in the wearer because of the public health aspect. The fact that they're onto something that has a public health leverage, it's not like delivering them too many pizzas that you made.
In terms of TOMS displacing local production, Sullivan says that one is hard to assess from our perspective. But TOMS, like any charity, is likely to have some downsides, according to Smith.
What are the, if you want to call it the dark side or the negative side of aid? There are some. And I think one of those is, one of the potential, and they're generally unintended consequences of aid, is it does have a negative ramification on building emerging economies to a certain degree.
But Smith says criticism of TOMS Shoes is to be expected. He says sometimes people are just too quick to fall in love with the charity, and then just as quickly dismiss it. Junior T.J. Lane, president of Miami's TOMS Shoes student organization, said the group has adopted the principles of TOMS Shoes and applied them locally. Throughout the school year, the group hosts events that are sponsored by the national TOMS brand, like a Style Your Souls party and a Day Without Shoes. But the organization also works with Kane Ministries outside Cincinnati for their own version of a TOMS-inspired shoe drop. Over the last 2 years, the group has donated at least 300 pairs of shoes to the homeless shelter and food pantry, and then spends the day volunteering there.
It's obviously something that makes you feel good. You feel like you've accomplished something because when you see all the shoes there and you know that those are going to go to people who really need them, and they came from people who probably have plenty of shoes and don't need so many pairs anymore, it's just a really good feeling.
So how can consumers know which charities are doing the most good this holiday season? Sullivan and Smith agree that the best thing smart consumers and philanthropists can do is research. Smith recommends tools like charitynavigator.org, which evaluates how donated dollars are used by charities. In addition, Sullivan points to the New York Times op-ed columnist Nicholas Kristof, who publishes lists of charities and humanitarian groups that do well at doing good.
All right, we're all set. Have a nice holiday.
Thank you very much. You too.